the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Bodery. I'd like to invite everybody to join me in a moment of silence, please. Thank you. First item is approval of the agenda. Are there any questions, comments, members of the board?
Move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Any member wish to abstain? Next is approval of the consent agenda. Are there any questions or comments? Dr. Sullivan, could you touch on the point that you made last time, I think? Is there not some corrections in this consent agenda?
Yeah, the main point on the consent agenda is we have some repeats of coaches who are being approved for the 22-23 school year, who also, because of the time of the season, have to be approved again for the 21-22 school year as well because of the timing of the season.
Thank you. If there are no questions, we'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Thank you. Thank you. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Any member wish to abstain? Okay, we have no visitors this evening. I do want to make a point. Dr. Sullivan is serving this evening as a designee of the director. Mr. Spurlock is not able to be here this evening, so thank you for being here, Dr. Sullivan. Members of the board, we are going to move financial matters. All of number, I think it's 16. On page 25, we'll take up financial orders next, if that's acceptable with the board, as Mr. Bodery has to leave. So, number 16, Dr. Sullivan, when you're ready.
All right, so number 16, tab 9, budget amendments for fiscal year 21-22, Educational Capital Projects Fund. This amendment is Fund 177, provides funding for an already approved emergency replacement of a chiller of $350,000, as well as $200,000 for additional new classroom administrative office setups for growth in several RCS schools. Recommended motion to approve the final cleanup amendment for fiscal year 21-22 for Fund 177 as presented.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, members of the board, or any information we need further, Mr. Bodery? No? Okay, if there are no questions or comments, we'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Any member wish to abstain? Next item.
Number 2, budget amendments for fiscal year 21-22, General Purpose School Fund. This final year-end cleanup amendment budgets funds for items such as leave payouts, increases for degree and certification pay scale changes, additional costs for contracted services such as Rutherford Academy, as well as growth routes and fuel surcharges for contract buses due to the dramatic increase in fuel prices this fiscal year. Funding for these expenses to come from a portion of local revenue collected over budgeted amounts. Recommended approval, motion to amend Fund 141 for the final cleanup of expenditure line items for fiscal year 21-22 for a net increase of $1,908,228 in budgeted expenditures. This amount is equivalent to less than 0.5% of the amended expenditure budget.
Thank you. Questions, comments, members of the board? Mr. Bodery, is there anything else we need to know on this item? Thank you. If there are no other questions, we'll entertain a motion.
So move.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Any member wish to abstain? Number 3.
Budget amendments for fiscal year 21-22, Centralized Cafeteria Fund. This Centralized Cafeteria Fund for fiscal year 21-22 amendment is a final cleanup amendment to allocate for the second $1,000 additional duties bonus for the Food Service Fund employees. That was approved for all full-time Board of Education employees recently, as well as adjusting non-payroll line items due to higher costs for equipment replacement and supplies. Recommended approval, motion to approve the fiscal year 21-22 Fund 143 budget amendment of $271,000 increase in both current year revenues and expenditures for the final cleanup amendment of the Centralized Cafeteria Fund.
Thank you. Questions, comments, members of the board? Mr. Bodery?
There's a there's very small amount in the salary side of this amendment, and the reason being is it was just needing the $1,000 in the smaller payroll object codes. The larger one with all the cafeteria, the staff employees at the individual schools, because of labor shortage, that I didn't even need an increase in that line. That explains why there's not much in a salary line increase
Okay,
in this budget, or this
thank you.
budget.
Any other questions, members of the board? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Any member wish to abstain?
I'm going to abstain from that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sharp. Number 4.
Number 4 is a resolution of the Rutherford County Board of Education to increase the threshold for competitive sealed bids, and that is in your tab.
Okay. There's no motion attached to this item, so
You'll be voting on, we can read that. Well, I'll read it if you'd like. I mean, it's, and then you vote on the resolution. Whereas the Tennessee State Legislature in regular session for the year 2022 amended TCA 12, Section 12.3, 12.12 to increase the threshold over which public advertisement and sealed competitive bids or proposals are required to an amount not to exceed $50,000 in local governments that have a full-time purchasing agent and a centralized purchasing authority. Whereas Rutherford County Schools has a staff of 2 full-time purchasing agents in the school system's centralized purchasing office. Now therefore be it resolved by the Rutherford County Board of Education meeting in regular session on June 16, 2022, that upon the passage of this resolution, the competitive purchasing limit be changed to comply with amended TCA 12.3, 12.12 and be set at $50,000. Additionally, be it resolved that in accordance with amended TCA 12.3, 12.12C, that at least 3 written quotations will be required for all purchases costing $15,000 but less than $50,000. And that's what's before you to vote on.
Mr. Bodary, just for everyone's knowledge, what are the current limits?
$25,000 for the sealed bid, and then $5,000 for the quote at central office, and $2,500 at the individual schools. So this will take a great deal of administrative burden off our purchasing staff at the central office and also at our schools.
Thank you.
thank you. Any other questions, members of the board? Ms. Ridley-View?
Yes, thank you, Ms. Johnson. This will also be coming up in the next policy committee meeting. That will be a policy change. I know we recently looked at that one, but with the new change in the state law, we'll be looking at that one again.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Reed, can you help us, please? Because there is not a motion attached to this, so there might be some confusion for some board members as to whether we were supposed to vote on this or not this evening.
If you want to vote on it tonight, you take a motion to adopt the resolution as read by Mr. Bodary. So if that's a motion that anyone wants to make, that's a motion that's in order, and that's something the board can take up if you choose to do that.
Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt this resolution.
Thank you, Ms. Breton.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Holden. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Any member wish to abstain? Next item.
All right, number 5, motion to set a 10-hour workday for 4th of July Independence Day holiday pay purposes for all 12-month RCS employees currently on a 4-day work week during the summer hours. During the summertime and after the school year is finished, numerous 12-month RCS employees shift to a 10-hour-a-day, 4-day workload. Currently, the employees are having to use 2 hours of vacation time along with 8 hours of holiday pay to take off the entire day for recognition of Independence Day. Recommended approval, motion to approve 10 hours of holiday pay for Independence Day for all 12-month RCS employees currently on a 4-day work week during the summer months as presented.
Thank you. Questions, comments, members of the board? If there are none, we'll entertain a motion.
I move.
Thank you.
A second.
Thank you. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Any member wish to abstain? Number 6.
Sorry, number 6, we have presentation on the state of Tennessee 401k and 457b plans by Tennessee Department of the Treasury retire-ready staff with comparison to our current 403b and 457b VALIC plan offerings. And I believe we have them via Zoom. Is that correct? Okay.
Yes, can you all hear me?
Yes.
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 Good evening. Thank you for having me tonight. My name is James Armistead, and I am the Middle Tennessee Outreach Representative for the Tennessee Department of Treasury. I would have loved to have been there in person this evening, but circumstances have made that not possible. Wanted to talk to you shortly about the 401k and the 457B plans that we offer. Your teachers have all had access to the 401k since 2012. Your hybrid teachers, and those are teachers hired after July 1st of 2014, that's a huge piece of their retirement plan, is the 401k. And just to give you a little overview, Tennessee is one of just a handful of states in the nation that can offer a 401k. We were grandfathered in before the laws changed, where governments have 457s, schools have 403Bs, and private sector has 401Ks. And that's a little different in Tennessee. And when we kind of changed the paradigm of things, when the hybrid plan came on in 2014, with that being such a big piece of the retirement. We also have a 457B plan that you currently have through another outside vendor. It is identical to the 401k in terms of fees, in terms of investment options. The only difference is it does not have the Roth option, which our 401k does have. Let me also say that all of your teachers in the legacy plan, so prior to 2014, July of 2014, they've always had access to the 401k since 2012. Many of them have used 403Bs because before that, that's all you had. We were able to do a short fee comparison. If you don't have it in front of you, I'm sure that Doug will be happy to send it to you. The information that was provided to us was simply an aggregate fee on the AIG side of, I believe, 1.19% average fees. So we did a fee comparison based on our plans, and it's about a 57.48% savings for your teachers to do our plans. There were a few options with these plans in terms of converting them or potentially freezing them, and Mr. Beaudry will cover that with you. You all are already part of the Empower system. Your hybrid teachers are very, very well aware and know our retirement plan advisors and what we can do with your teachers. The one thing we cannot do with a legacy teacher, we obviously have retirement plan advisors who can definitely talk to them about TCRS. But a legacy teacher that is contributing to another plan that's not ours, all we can do is talk to them about TCRS. When we have what we call, a really consolidated version of retirement, where you talk to one person about your deferred compensation and about your pension, it allows teachers to plan for their retirement throughout their career. And that's what your hybrid teachers are doing now, hopefully. Your retirement plan advisor lives in Murfreesboro. He's very accessible. He meets with your teachers all the time. And I just want to let you know kind of how that process works. And I'll go ahead and turn it over to Doug to let him talk about his thoughts on your current plans.
When I came onto this job a little over 3 years ago, one thing I inherited was to be the plan administrator of our 403B and 457 plans, not with Empower, with the state's plans, which they take care of the administration on that side. So very smooth when our teachers and our support staff utilize Empower for 401k and 457 plans. However, the active 403B plan vendor that we currently have is VALIC. We have an in-house administrator set up, which Dr. Anthony and I are the plan administrators for not only this active, when I say active plan, it's the one vendor for 403Bs that our staff can get payroll deductions taken and put into these investments for retirement. And once again, I'm talking about the defined contribution plans, not the defined benefit plans under TCRS. So two separate animals. As you see on this, we have, one other thing I inherited was we have 13 dormant 403B plans that we're Dr. Anthony and I are the administrators of, and then of course the one active plan, which is VALIC. Dr. Anthony and I both received quite a few calls from our employees. With the main thing is on VALIC is customer service complaints from our employees saying they're very quick on taking funds from our employees, but they're very slow when it comes to dispersing the money when it's time for retirement or leave from employment here. So, you know, the more we looked at that, the more we realized other counties and even Rutherford County, I'd sent you both all some information that, you know, numerous school systems, including Metro Nashville and Wilson County, had already moved over wholly to the state plans and away from these 403B plans. Rutherford County, the county side, they moved to the state plans wholly for payroll deduction years ago, but, you know, we remained. The more we analyzed, you know, this for the option of doing what Wilson County and Rutherford County, the county side did, just basically roll, you know, terminate this plan and then roll everything to the state and let our employees be under there. One thing we realized was because of the nature of some of the investments that VALIC had placed some of our employees in some annuities, they would not be able to terminate those without early withdrawal fees. So Murfreesboro City saw the same thing with some of their providers. Because I believe Murfreesboro now is with, I think you follow.
Yeah.
Right, yes. So you know, so what I'm asking the board to consider for July's meeting, you know, this is just information tonight. I want you guys, any questions you have, please, we will get them answered. But what I'm asking the board to consider is in their next meeting in July to basically move VALIC from the active plan down with the other 13 to a dormant plan. So once again, we cannot terminate that without causing some of our employees to lose some funds from their retirement. So we will do just like we did these other ones years ago and make them so they're dormant. And then going forward, payroll contributions, all of our employees would be able to utilize, not just our hybrid teachers, but that are automatically enrolled in the state's 401k, but all of our employees that would like payroll deduction for retirement would go to the state plans, like these other school systems have done.
Okay.
Does that make sense? And
This is of great benefit to our employees. You're just not saying that, but it is. You've done a good job on this, Doug.
Thank you. And one thing is, when he did the fee comparison, and I will send that to all of you, one thing he noticed on his average fee comparison between what our employees pay for just administrative fees annually and with the state's fees on average were 57.48% lower than our current plans, you know, what VALIC was charging our employees. So I believe this would be, I know this board wants to give our employees, you know, pay raises, and this is once again just like the health insurance, when you're able to save more on the back end.
They get to
It's another
keep
pay
more
raise.
money. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate our employees being able to keep more of their money. I think they will too. Any other questions, members of the board, on this item? If you have any further questions, reach out to Mr. Bodery or Dr. Anthony between now and July meeting for further information. Thank you, and we appreciate the gentleman from the state being with us tonight. If there's no other, thank you. If there's no other questions on this item, we'll move on.
All right, number 7, contract agreement between the Rutherford County Board of Education and the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance, TOA, Ascension St. Thomas, AST, and Results Physiotherapy, Results PT. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance, TOA, Ascension St. Thomas, Rutherford, AST, and Results Physiotherapy, Results PT seeks to partner with the Rutherford County Board of Education to provide physician coverage at all home high school football games and jamborees and at all home playoff games. TOA AST Results PT shall pay the Rutherford County Board of Education $650,000 per year of the contract. In exchange, the TOA AST Results PT will receive preferential opportunities for advertisement, including placement in marketing materials, display of signage at games and athletic locker rooms, and 3 in-game announcements. TOA has also agreed to providing standing physician orders for RCS athletic trainers. The healthcare partners will provide a free annual wellness exam event offering sports physicals to Rutherford County athletes. And this contract has a term of 3 years beginning with the fiscal year 22-23, with the option to allow an automatic renewal for an additional 1-year period. With these funds, RCS plans to add additional athletic trainers to provide enhanced coverage to our high and middle schools and to purchase athletic training and safety equipment. Recommended motion to approve the 3-year contract with the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance, Ascension St. Thomas, and Results Physiotherapy as presented. And I believe we have several people here with us today. Rob Simmons, CEO at TOA, and Gordon Ferguson, the CEO of Ascension St. Thomas as well. If you guys, the board's welcome to it.
Members of the board have any questions? Yep. Please.
Thanks for having me tonight, and thank you for considering this contract. Rutherford County's been a big partner of ours over the years, the school system. I know that our physicians and staff love working with the teams and the kids, and it's been something we've been doing for a very long time, and so we're glad to be back at the table to have another consideration for a new contract, and want to appreciate the partnership that we have with Rutherford County Schools, but also want to thank Chris and Brad for their collaboration throughout this process and establishing this new agreement, and their patience working with us as we try to make sure we are getting to a place where we can expand our relationship with you all as the Rutherford County school system continues to expand itself, and also the needs that the kids have, especially in the athletic programs. So also very grateful for the partnership of Rutherford County St. Thomas Ascension and also Results Physiotherapy for coming to the table on this with us, which also allowed us to expand the relationship as well. So that's really all I wanted to say. Thank you for your consideration, and I'm here for any questions that you may have for me.
Thank you. We appreciate you being here this evening. Any members of the board have questions on this item?
I don't have a question, but I do have a comment. As a mom who had 4 boys who all played football and one broke his collarbone in a game, I took great solace in knowing that you guys were on the sidelines, and the fact that y'all expanded it to all the schools and middle schools. It's just, and I loved Dr. Johns too. I'm just going to be honest.
Absolutely.
I love that we have this relationship with you guys, and I think this is wonderful.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate that.
I have a question. This is a new contract we're entering into, so I assume it was something else last year. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Another company or another process or?
No, sir, it was with TOA. We have very similar kind of language, but we wanted to expand, I think, to also allow for expanded coverage with other schools as you guys have continued to grow.
All righty. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Holden, it was more support, more financial support, more coverage, and then getting our middle schools involved as well.
Okay. Thank y'all very much for that.
Sure.
Any other questions or comments? If there are none, we'll entertain a motion.
I move.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Any member wish to abstain? Thank you for being here. We appreciate you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Actually, let's go back to the top of the agenda. Thank you.
I think we move back to page 12.
Thanks for keeping us in order. Okay. Number 7.
All right, number 7, evaluation instrument for new director of schools, tab 2.
Okay, members of the board, we really would like, we all received an email from Tennessee School Board Association asking us to prepare an evaluation instrument in advance of Dr. Sullivan taking his position as director of schools. I hope everybody's had an opportunity to look at it. If not, we would entertain moving this item to the next meeting if that's necessary. There are some questions at the end of the existing instrument evaluation, very specific questions on, I'm not sure if members of the board were able to look at that. The very last section spoke to the number of HVAC units we were going to replace in a year, and it's just very odd. I don't know how they ended up there. I don't know that that is absolutely necessary to have that section in the instrument. Do we need more time, members of the board?
It was Trey Lee's evaluation, and it got put in, no, we're just kidding, Trey.
Honestly, it was like, did maintenance?
Yeah. I think I would like to see us put this off one more meeting, if you don't mind.
I would be happy to do that. Members of the board agree? I don't think we need a motion because there is no motion on here, but Is that acceptable, Mr. Reed, for us to just move it to the next meeting? All right. The members of the board, I would ask you to please look at it again. If you have any questions, please reach out to Dr. Sullivan or Mr. Reed so that we can have something by the 1st of July. Next item. Okay.
All right, so next is Human Resources Tab 3, and this is a service agreement between Rutherford County Schools and Proximity Learning. I'll give you the information, then I will give you an update before we get to a motion if it works. So 22-23 pilot program at Laverne High and Laverne Middle School utilizing 100% live instruction through Proximity Learning for hard-to-fill teaching positions. Proximity Learning, owned by our ESS substitute vendor, provides a virtual teaching option with live instruction daily. Laverne High will receive the following teachers: 3 math, 3 English, 2 ESL, and 1 Spanish. Laverne Middle will receive the following teachers: 2 math and 1 ESL. The contract of $766,798.92 covers this service for a 1-year term. The phone support fee in this contract has been waived, and this item is on the budget for the 22-23 school year. I would recommend that we would table this for us to have a little bit more time to do our own recruiting strategies that I'm going to discuss during our director's update tonight, and utilize this as a last option. I realize this may put us in a time crunch with utilizing the service if needed, but I have some sole source questions. I have some questions about the financial impact and then whether or not that's the best benefit for our students.
So it would be your recommendation this evening to table this item until a further meeting?
July 5th, 7th meeting.
All right, members of the board, we will entertain a motion if a member of the board would like to make a motion to table this item at the request of Dr. Sullivan.
I would
Move
like
to
to make
table.
a comment, I'm sorry.
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Holden.
My comment. I know that I would like to see us look at hiring a recruiter for teachers. And I'm not taking shots at anybody as far as what they do and what they got to do, but again, Murfreesboro City has hired a recruiter, and very few lot less schools than we have. So I just wish the board would think about that a little bit and create a position for a teacher recruiter, or a recruiter in general, whether we do classified or certified, it doesn't matter. But I think I hope that would allow us to resolve, at least feedback and resolve some of these issues that we're having with teachers. I mean, I'm just throwing that out there because I know most places in the industry now, very big, have very much size, have their own recruiting staff and have their own recruiter. So I see that a lot. So just a thought.
Thank you.
And that's something we are looking at as well. We have our HR department. We are working on the recruiting. Dr. Anthony and I have had some great meetings the last couple of days. And working with our purchasing department, I was going to do this in the director's update, but I'll go ahead and tell you now, we have really 3 strategies we're going to work at. One of those is using a recruiter, a national recruiter through the National Institute for Governmental Purchasing. That's who we go through our consortium for bidding. The one that we are looking at is Acro Service Corporation, and basically their recruiting fee is 16% of whatever that person's salary is that they find for us. And that'll be a recommendation I bring to the board on July 5th and 7th. For some true specific, we have high needs ELA, math, and science. General recruiting, yes, we have to completely rebrand some of our things we're doing, but for some of our specific needs we have right now, that's an area.
I mean,
I'll
I
bring
know
to
just
you.
looking through the salary, and I assume we do salary surveys. Do we do exit interviews or just, okay. And this data here is really nothing that, to me, shows up as one quick resolution and this is going to go away. So, I mean, I know we talk about pay a lot, and that's always a concern, no doubt. But I would really like to see us try to get teachers that work for us. And I know y'all would too. I know that's everybody's goal. So, thank you.
Thank you, appreciate your comments. Any other comments, members of the board, or questions? If not, I will reiterate. Dr. Sullivan has asked for us to table this until the next meeting for further information. So we will entertain a motion.
Move to table.
Thank you. Second. Thank you. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Any member wish to abstain? Thank you. Next item.
All right, number 9, approval of the Carl D. Perkins Career and Technical Education Act, the Carl D. Perkins Basic Grant, the Carl D. Perkins Career and Technical Education Act of 2018, known as Perkins 5, is presented for approval for the funding period of July 1st, 2022 and June 30th, 2023. The grant is for $637,971.97. The Carl D. Perkins Basic Grant provides funding for program improvement, travel, and staff development for our career and technical education teachers. Recommended approval, motion to approve the Carl D. Perkins Basic Grant for $637,971.97 to provide funding for program improvement, equipment, travel, and staff development for our career and technical education teachers as presented.
Thank you.
Move.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Any member wish to abstain? Number 10.
All right, number 10, ESL Tab 4. Number 1, professional development training stipends. The ESL department will be offering 2 days of training on strategies and best practices for 12 high school teachers on July 27th through 28th. The teachers will receive a stipend of $50 an hour for a total of 10 hours. The stipends will be paid for with Title III funds. Recommended approval, motion to approve Title III fund stipend payments for training days is presented. And as mentioned the other night, this amount is exactly the same as we were paying summer school and every other stipend that we are doing.
Thank you. Appreciate the information. Questions, comments? If none, we'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Any member wish to abstain? Number 2.
All right, number 2 in this next group, as we discussed on Monday, is a large section of renewals that we currently use. Number 2, purchase of Learning A to Z licenses. The ESL department is seeking approval to purchase RAS Plus and RAS Plus connected classroom licenses from Learning A to Z for our English language learners. These programs are designed to facilitate both language and literacy at all levels of proficiency. The total cost is $33,858 and will be paid for with Title III funds. Recommend motion to approve the purchase of licenses from Learning A to Z for the ESL department as presented.
Thank you. Question, comments? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Any member wish to abstain? Number 11.
Fine Arts, Tab 5. First, Smart Music, Music Learning and Assessment System. The Instruction Department is requesting to purchase Smart Music Platform Access for Make Music for all instructional music teachers and students enrolled in middle and high school instrumental music courses for 22-23 school year. This purchase is a renewal from our existing subscription and will continue to ensure access to the program for all instrumental music students. Recommended motion to approve the purchase of Smart Music for instrumental music programs for the 22-23 school year at a cost of $38,173.55 is presented.
Thank you. Questions, comments? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Thank you, Ms. Sharp.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Maxwell. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Any member wish to abstain? Number 2.
Quaver Music, Elementary Music Curriculum. The Instruction Department is requesting to purchase the Quaver Music program from Quaver Ed for all RCS elementary schools for the 22-23 school year. This is the district's currently adopted elementary music curriculum. Continued access for all schools will ensure quality curriculum alignment throughout the district. Recommended motion to approve the purchase of Quaver Music for elementary music programs for the 22-23 school year at a cost of $42,120 as presented.
Thank you. Questions, comments? If there are none, we'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Any member wish to abstain? Number 3.
Art of Education, Visual Art Resources. The Instruction Department is requesting to purchase subscriptions for the curriculum suite from the Art of Education University for all visual arts teachers for the 22-23 school year. Each subscription provides the teacher with access to customizable instructional resources aligned to the Tennessee Visual Arts standards and content-specific professional development. This purchase will be a renewal of our existing subscription. Recommended approval, motion to approve the purchase of Art of Education curriculum suite for all visual art teachers for the 22-23 school year at a cost of $54,677 as presented.
Thank you. Questions, comments, members of the board? If there are none, we'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Any member wish to abstain? Next item.
All right, continuing with our fine arts programs, Drama Teacher Academy, Theater Resources. The Instruction Department is requesting to purchase Drama Teacher Academy access for all full-time middle and high school theater teachers for 22-23 school year. This access includes standards-aligned instructional resources and professional development for theater instructors. This purchase will be a renewal of our existing subscription. Recommend motion to approve the purchase of Drama Teacher Academy from Theater Folk Limited for teachers of curricular theater programs for the 22-23 school year at a cost of $8,436 as presented.
Thank you. Questions, comments, members of the board? If there are none, we'll entertain a motion.
I move.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Any member wish to abstain? Number 5.
Moving from drama to dance. Korea Movement Dance Resources. The Instruction Department is requesting to purchase Korea Movement subscriptions from Dance for Schools for Publishing for the 4 dance teachers who will teach dance as an academic subject during the 22-23 school year. This resource will provide standards-aligned lesson planning support for a variety of dance styles as well as professional development resources. Recommend motion to approve the purchase of Korea Movement subscription for teachers of curricular dance programs for the 22-23 school year at a cost of $10,800 as presented.
Thank you. Questions, comments, members of the board? If there are none, we'll entertain a motion.
So move.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Any member wish to abstain? Number 6.
And last, Sight Reading Factory Music Reading Program. The Instruction Department is requesting to purchase Sight Reading Factory platform access for all vocal music teachers and students enrolled in middle and high school vocal music courses for the 22-23 school year. This purchase will allow for access to the standards-aligned music reading, practice, and assessment program for all middle and high school vocal music students and teachers. Motion to approve the purchase of Sight Reading Factory for vocal music programs for the 22-23 school year at a cost of $3,100 as presented.
Thank you. Questions, comments, members of the board? If there are none, we'll entertain a motion.
I move.
Thank you. Thank you. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Any member wish to abstain? Number 12.
Moving into federal programs, Curriculum Instruction Department would like to allocate approximately $400,000 to continue with the curriculum lead framework that began during the 2019-2020 school year. Curriculum leads are an essential component of the RCS curriculum framework and model of continuous improvement. Each school receives an equal number of representatives based on the grade band served. Curriculum leads are funded through federal programs using Title II allocations. Recommended motion to approve Title II funds for curriculum leads for the 22-23 school year is presented.
Thank you. Questions, comments, members of the board? If there are none, we'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Any member wish to abstain? Next item.
All right, the next 3 at least are Title I. So tab 6A, Conflict Resolution and Collaboration PD for Laverne Lake Elementary. Presenter Molly Grisham from Influence LLC will lead conflict resolution and team building at Laverne Lake Elementary over 8 sessions during the 22-23 school year. The training will provide teachers an understanding of building relationships with colleagues of different personality types and how to better collaborate with one another. Sessions will be completed in large and small groups. The total cost will not exceed $14,000. Title I funds allocated to Laverne Lake Elementary will pay 100% of the cost of this training. Recommended motion to approve the contract between Influence LLC and Laverne Lake Elementary for professional development on addressing conflict resolution and team building, pending approval of fiscal year 2023 budget as presented.
Thank you. Questions, comments, members of the board? If there are none, we'll entertain a motion.
So move.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Any member wish to abstain? Next item.
All right, B, Imagine Language and Literacy for Laverne Lake Elementary. Imagine Language and Literacy is an online adaptive learning solution that accelerates reading and language proficiency for students in grades pre-K through 6 designed to supplement core literacy instruction. Laverne Lake Elementary will purchase 200 licenses to serve English language learners in the 4 domains of literacy, reading, writing, and speaking. The cost will not exceed $25,000. Title I funds allocated to Laverne Lake Elementary will pay 100% of the cost of this software. Recommended motion to approve the purchase of Imagine Language and Literacy for Laverne Lake Elementary for use with English language arts or English language learners pending approval of their fiscal year 2023 budget is presented.
Thank you. Questions, comments, members of the board? If there are none, we'll entertain a motion.
I move.
Thank you. Thank you. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Any member wish to abstain? Next item.
C, iReady Reading for Laverne Lake Elementary. iReady Reading is an online platform that provides diagnostic information and individualized lessons in the domains of phonological awareness, phonics, vocabulary, and comprehension. iReady Reading will be used to supplement the RCS ELA curriculum. Laverne Lake Elementary will purchase 900 licenses to serve students in pre-K through 5. Cost will not exceed $15,120. Title I funds allocated to Laverne Lake Elementary will pay 100% of the cost of this software. Recommended motion to approve the purchase of iReady Reading for Laverne Lake Elementary pending approval of the fiscal year 2023 budget as presented.
Thank you. Questions, comments, members of the board? If there are none, we'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Thank you. Thank you. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Any member wish to abstain? Next item.
Professional Learning Communities at Work, Solution Tree Incorporated. Joe Kadimi and Associate of Solution Tree will provide a workshop for teachers at David Urey Elementary. Teachers who participate in the training will understand the benefits of PLCs and how to implement them into a school or district, develop and maintain a healthy collaborative culture, answer and utilize the 4 critical questions every PLC must address. With the help of a certified associate, the staff will learn practical strategies for implementing and sustaining the PLC at Work process at David Urey Elementary. The professional development will give new and veteran teachers an understanding of successful PLC. The first day of the training will take place on August 4th, 2022. The follow-up coaching date with Joe Kadimi will be determined for the second semester. This coaching day will allow Mr. Kadimi to observe our PLC meetings and give feedback to administration to help build stronger PLCs. The contract details the initial workshop August 4th, 2022, 8 to 3. Follow-up coach with Joe Kadimi to be determined, 7:45 to 2:45. Total cost $13,000, which we pay with David Urey's Title I. Cost includes consultant fee, travel expenses, and a book for each participant, pending budget approval for 2023. Title I, again, cost $13,000. Recommended approval, motion to approve the contract between Rutherford County Schools and Solution Tree to pay for professional learning communities that work for David Urey teachers as presented.
Thank you. Questions, comments, members of the board? If there are none, we'll entertain a motion.
I have one question, and this is kind of silly, but it's August 4th. What is the election day?
Third?
Is it the,
It's August 4th.
It's August 4th, but that is a teacher in service day for
Yeah.
us this year.
okay.
Students aren't there.
Students aren't there, but teachers
Yeah.
are.
Okay, I just,
And then, yeah, then following, making sure we follow state and federal laws, we always give time
Yeah, I know
as
we
needed
did
for
that.
people to go and vote.
Okay, any other questions or comments? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Any member wish to abstain? Next item.
All right, Responsibility Center Discipline Training. AccuTrain Corp. will provide 2 days of teacher professional development on the topic of Responsibility Center Discipline at Laverne Middle School. By attending this professional development, teachers will learn how to identify and address issues that affect the academic and behavioral progress of students. Teachers will learn and implement strategies for reaching and helping students with discipline issues. Teachers will receive additional coaching and support with the second-year implementation of the Responsibility Center Discipline in their classroom practices. Contract details, on-site trainings, August 3rd, 2022, on-site initial training for 85 educators, February 16th, 2023, on-site day in classrooms for observation, coaching, support, and feedback. Additional support, 1-hour phone call follow-up with the principal. Total contract fees, fee is all-inclusive of $15,950. Recommended motion to approve Title I funds to pay for on-site professional development and additional support for successful implementation for Responsibility Center Discipline conducted by ACC Train Corp. Participation in this training will enable teachers to create a responsible climate and responsible students by implementing systems focused on the RCD model. Title I administrative funds will pay 100% of this contract pending approval of the fiscal year 23 application as presented.
Thank you. Questions, comments, members of the board? If there are none, we'll entertain a motion.
I'll move.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Any member wish to abstain? Next item.
F, Care Solace. We had a presenter the other night during our work session about this program. RCS is requesting a contract with Care Solace for the 22-23 school year. Care Solace is a company that lifts the heavy burden of mental health care coordination for school systems. This service is offered as a scalable and virtual solution for the Rutherford County Schools community. Care Solace will guide the transition to mental health services by coordinating care across all RCS students, family members, employees, and employees' family members. This contract will not exceed $200,000 for the 22-23 school year and will be paid through using ESSER 3.0 funds. Recommended approval, motion to approve a contract with Care Solace for the 22-23 school year that will not exceed $200,000 paid through ESSER 3.0 funds is presented.
Thank you. Questions, comments, members of the board? If there are none, we'll entertain a motion.
I move.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Any member wish to abstain? Next item.
All right, Curriculum and Instruction, tab 7, Rutherford County Schools online teaching contract. Curriculum and Instruction Department is requesting permission to implement a Rutherford County Schools online teaching contract beginning in the fall of 2022. The contract would outline an agreement between the Rutherford County Schools and teachers to teach online courses outside the regular school day for additional pay beyond the teacher's normal salary. Teachers will receive a base pay for each course and additional payment per student in the course each term. A copy of the contract is attached. Recommended motion to approve the use of Rutherford County Schools online teaching contracts to use as an agreement between Rutherford County Schools and teachers. General purpose funds from the Curriculum and Instruction Department will pay 100% of this contract as presented.
Thank you. Was there additional information we had requested during the work session on this item?
Yeah, the base pay is going to be $500 for the teacher, and then they get an additional, I believe, $125 to $150 depending on the students that enroll. So the maximum that a teacher would receive would be upwards of $3,000, but a class has to have at least 5 students to make. Otherwise, it wouldn't be fiscally responsible or in best interest for instruction to continue with that course.
Okay, appreciate the information. Any questions?
These are outside of regular school hours, correct?
Correct. It's outside
These
nights,
are for
weekends.
Students to take though, just on their own time?
Yes, we used to have this as a Holloway type night school, and we had it online as well, and now we're kind of going back and adding it back as a more affordable resource than using what our virtual school platform does.
Well, we were talking earlier about the Laverne trial with the teachers teaching and having, what we were talking about. How does that differ from our virtual school, really?
A little bit. So when we're looking at our virtual school, that our own teachers at our virtual school are all 3 through 8. We don't have virtual school teachers outside of one for math that is a high school oriented teacher.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments, members of the board? If there are none, we'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Any member wish to abstain? Next item.
All right, Dino Cloud for Securely. The Curriculum Instruction Department requests to use Securely as a sole approved vendor for their Dino Cloud service in the amount of $79,000. Dino Cloud for Securely Incorporated gives teachers monitoring and control tools with both live and historical analysis on the digital behavior of students on classroom devices. ESSER 3.0 funds will be used to purchase this service for 22-23, and that is just strictly so that we can pilot it before we bring it into our GP funds.
So it would be a pilot.
Yep. Recommended motion to approve the sole source approved letter for Dino Cloud service in the amount of $79,000 with ESSER 3.0 funds as presented.
Thank you. Questions, comments, members of the board? If there are none, we'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Young.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Maxwell. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Any member wish to abstain? Next item.
All right, C, agreement with Handwriting Without Tears. Handwriting Without Tears curriculum is currently used in voluntary pre-K, second grade, and third grade. RCS would like to add kindergarten and first grade to provide consistent handwriting instruction across the grades. It will include teacher digital resources and consumable student workbooks. The first year of implementation will also include professional development. Adding kindergarten and first grade handwriting instruction will offer continuity across the grades. Recommended approval, motion to approve the addition of kindergarten and first grade handwriting without tears curriculum at the cost of $72,419.25 as presented.
Thank you. Questions, comments, members of the board? If there are none, we'll entertain a motion. So moved. Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Any member wish to abstain? Next item.
All right, D, agreement with Better Lessons and Open Up Resources. RCS wishes to continue professional development with Better Lessons and Open Up Resources for the 22-23 school year to support the continuation of best practices in ELA instruction and encompasses the science of reading. ELA teachers new to the district, ELA model schools teachers, coaches, and administrators, and district ELA specialists will receive the in-depth PD. Our model schools this year will include Plainview Elementary, Browns Chapel Elementary, and John Coleman Elementary. They were all model schools last year as well. These schools provide an opportunity for teachers and administrators across the district to observe high-quality ELA instruction. Recommended motion to approve the agreement with Better Lessons and Open Up Resources for LEA professional development for the 22-23 school year at the cost of $85,000 as presented.
Thank you. Questions, comments, members of the board? If there are none, we'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Any member wish to abstain? Next item.
All right, E, professional development with Brian Lawler. Consultant Dr. Brian Lawler will provide 5 days of professional development for high school math teachers at Rutherford County Schools. Teachers, approximately 30, participating as PLC groups, will be paid $50 an hour to attend. Teachers will engage in a transformative week of PD in which they learn how to build a thinking classroom that promotes the mathematical abilities of all students. Dr. Lawler will model a thinking classroom, the multiple ability strategy, and task-based instruction, which will enhance the teaching practices of all teachers in attendance. He will also provide his PowerPoints, which includes the structures, videos, tasks, and documents used throughout the week so that teachers can refer back to them when needed. July 11th through 14th will be for Year 1 teachers, while July 14th and 15th will be for Year 2 teachers that attended this training last year. Contract details, training for Year 1 teachers, July 11th through 14th, 2022, 8 to 3. Training for Year 2 teachers, July 14th, 15th, 2022, 8 to 3. The Brian Lawler contract fee of $7,000, teacher pay of $30,000, supplies of $500, for a total of $37,500. Recommended motion to approve the general purpose funds to pay for 5 days of professional development conducted by consultant Dr. Brian Lawler and pay teachers $50 an hour to attend. Participation in this training will enable teachers to enhance student engagement and improve student confidence in high school math. General purpose budget will pay 100% of this contract as presented.
Thank you. Questions, comments, members of the board? If there are none, we will entertain a motion.
I move.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Any member wish to abstain? Next item.
F, Student Laptop Protection Plan. The Instruction Department is requesting to provide an optional student laptop protection plan. Enrollment in this protection plan will alleviate the potential cost of repair and/or replacement costs that could result from accidental damage to an assigned student device. The cost of this plan will be $20 per year. An outline of the protection plan is attached, and basically we would pay $20 a year for a protection plan, so that in the event that a device was accidentally damaged or lost, then that liability of a parent, we would replace their device for them for the first time. I mean, that's a per year fee. Recommended motion to approve the institution of the Rutherford County Schools Laptop Protection Plan as presented.
And this is a voluntary program for parents.
Absolutely voluntary.
Any questions, comments, members of the board? If there are none, we'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Any member wish to abstain? Next item.
G, Delta Math. Delta Math is a supplemental online math program that helps support procedural skill and fluency in high school math. This program offers math problems based on algorithms so that each student has different problems. Teachers can assign work to students that align with the curriculum guide to help them practice the material learned in class. Contract details, Delta Math Plus for the 22-23 school year, total contract of $14,270. Recommended motion to approve the general purpose funds to pay for the program Delta Math, which is an online math program for high school students. The program supplements district resources with added instructional support and practices that helps build procedural skill and fluency. General purpose budget will pay 100% of the contract as presented.
Thank you. Questions, comments, members of the board? If there are none, we'll entertain a motion.
I move.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Any member wish to abstain? Next item.
And H, again, necessarily shouldn't be here, but since it's here, we'll go ahead and do it. Again, we'll make sure that happens next time. National Council of Supervisors of Mathematics, NCSM. The National Council of Supervisors of Mathematics, NCSM, is a mathematics leadership organization for educational leaders that provides professional learning opportunities necessary to support and sustain improved student achievement in mathematics. The NCSM conference will be held September 26th through 28th, 2022 in Anaheim, California. NCSM conference is a great opportunity for RCS math specialists to hear from the leading experts in mathematics education, to learn how to better support teachers, imagine a future of professional math education, inspire colleagues through bold leadership, influence educators through coaching, and impact systems for equity. Contract details, National Council of Supervisors of Mathematics Conference, total amount $2,000. Recommended motion to approve the general purpose funds to pay for the high school math specialist to attend the National Council of Supervisors Math Conference held September 26th through 28th, 2022 in Anaheim, California, as presented.
Thank you. Questions, comments, members of the board?
Just gonna make an observation here. We're spending a lot of money on math, so math scores better improve.
Would agree. Would agree.
Agree completely.
Cool. Any other questions or comments, members of the board? If there are none, we'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Any member wish to abstain? Next item.
I, Technology Lead Stipend. The Instruction Department is requesting to provide a $2,000 stipend for the 22-23 school year to a certified teacher at each school. This supplement will help support extra duties that are needed due to the increase in instructional technology and hardware support level. The total cost of the Technology Lead Stipend for the 22-23 school year is $100,000 to be funded through the general purpose funds. The responsibilities of the Tech Lead are attached. Recommended approval, motion to approve the Technology Lead Stipend for the 22-23 school year for $100,000 through general purpose funds as presented.
Thank you. Questions, comments?
Does this mean that we're going to release the librarians from having to do this?
Yeah, we had a meeting on June, I believe it was June 1st, with all middle and high school, middle first and high school the next day, media specialists, coaches, and administrators, to where we outlined the responsibilities of media specialists, coaches, and tech leads. And then they had about 30 minutes each to where, as a school team, they problem solved through some of these. It doesn't totally remove it. When I envisioned this last year, it was truly for them just to be involved in the overall inventory, not the day-to-day check-ins, coming up with a device anytime during the day, ordering parts. That is not the role of a media specialist.
Right.
And if we don't get those type of things removed, then it'll be my recommendation in the future that we add a staff member at our high schools to support those 2,000 to 2,500 devices at each school.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments, members of the board? If there are none, we'll entertain a motion.
Move.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Any member wish to abstain? Next item.
All right, Schoology, the instruction department is requesting to renew Schoology, a district-wide learning management system for all students and teachers K-12, as well as the digital classroom space for the RCS virtual school. Schoology provides teachers a platform to provide digital lessons where students can have access to curriculum resources from anywhere at any time. The group featuring Schoology provides a repository for district and PLC resources to be curated and shared. Parents can be invited to join the Schoology community to view their child's work and to participate in the virtual Schoology parent groups. The total cost of Schoology renewal for the 22-23 school year is $248,310 to be funded to the general purpose funds. Recommended motion to approve the purchase of Schoology for $248,310 through general purpose funds for the 22-23 school years presented. And I do want to bring up, this is still less than the Blackboard cost that we were using back in the 2018-19 year. So although it has increased, it's still less than our other platform 4 years ago.
Thank you. Questions, comments, members of the board?
Do we have any numbers on how many parents participate, or what do we see as far as that goes?
I can find out. I don't have that data right offhand, but I will for our next meeting. Yeah.
Okay.
I have anecdotal information on this, and teachers love this.
Good.
They have only good things to say about Schoology.
Good deal.
And we were using it for our CTE programs before we rolled it out K-12, and so we had a little bit of experience district-wide, and it has helped, and it's not kid'em, so that's positive.
Yes, positive.
It's not kidding. Any other questions or comments, members of the board? If there are none, we'll entertain a motion.
I move.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Any member wish to abstain? Next item.
All right, legal, tab 8, disciplinary hearing appeal. The board has requested to review a decision of the disciplinary hearing authority, DHA, to uphold the remandment of a student from Christiana Middle School. Based on a review of the DHA's record, the board may A, affirm the decision of the DHA, B, overturn the decision of the DHA, or C, grant a hearing before the board. Recommended motion to approve. The board initiate a motion in line with one of the above options as presented.
Thank you. Members of the board, as we're dealing with a confidential issue with a student, we can't ask many questions here, but I trust everybody has reviewed this. So see the options before us, and we'll entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion that we overturn the decision of the DHA.
I was
Second.
Ms. Hopkins, would you please take the roll?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
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 Yes. Thank you. Next item.
All right, number 2, policy adoption, first and final reading. The below policies are recommended on the first and final reading due to the urgency in filling positions in the district. Policy 5.1151, telework during emergencies, adds language that allows the director of schools and assistant superintendents to approve requests for telework. Recommended approval, motion to approve one of these two options as presented. A, suspend board policy 1.600 to specifically waive the 2 readings requirement for the above policy as presented, or B, adoption of the first and final readings of the above policy as presented.
Thank you. Members of the board, questions or comments on this policy?
Did this help your cause when you were hiring those folks? I mean, I just want to make sure.
Yes, everybody we interviewed was working virtually,
Okay. That's just all I wondered was.
but several of them are excited to have that hybrid opportunity as needed. Several of them are excited to get back into a building too at the same time. So it works both ways.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay.
Good question. Members of the board will entertain a motion. It'll need to be selection A or B. Please state clearly in your motion. So the motion would be we suspend board policy 1.6 to specifically waive the 2 readings requirement for the above policies presented, or adoption of the first and final readings of the above policies presented. Either one of those would be your motion.
Does this affect your hiring or anything? Either.
No, sir, we would use that on times where the crunch time when it comes to the enrollment period, so no.
I move to approve B.
Okay, we have a motion to adopt of the first and final readings of the above policy as presented.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Any member wish to abstain? Next item.
All right, number 3, policy adoption, first reading of 2 readings. Do you want me to handle all of these together, or any we want to pull out specifically?
Members of the board, are you comfortable having all of them read together and pass and voting on them as one? Or would you like them to be voted on individually? You okay with all of them together?
Yes.
All of them together.
Okay, perfect. All right, policy adoption, first reading of 2 readings. The below policies are recommended on the first reading. These policies will be brought to the next scheduled board meeting for a second and final reading. A, policy 1.104, memberships, strikes language to remove membership from the Southern Regional School Boards Association and the National School Boards Association and replaces with language that district will be an affiliate member of any national associations of which TSBA is a member. B, policy 1.105, school board legislative involvement, strikes language to remove membership from NSBA. C, policy 1.204, board member development opportunities, strikes language to remove NSBA and replaces with language that district will be a member of other national school boards associations through TSBA. D, policy 1.407, school district records, updates name and contact information for current staff attorney. E, policy 2.200, annual operating budget, adds language to comply with Tennessee Code Annotated 493316A2. F, policy 2.802, payroll procedures, adds language for exceptions to no advance payments of salary to reflect current district practice. G, policy 2.805, purchasing, adds clarification to purchasing and bids. H, policy 3.4031, car accidents on school property, this is new, adds policy to clarify process when car accidents occur on school property. I, policy 5.802, qualifications and duties of the director of schools, adds language to state the doctorate degree is preferred. J, policy 6.202, homeschool, adds clarity for participation of homeschool students' participation in fine arts programs. And K, policy 6.405, medicines, adds language to allow parent guardian or the parent's adult designee to deliver a student's medication to the principal. Recommended motion to adopt policies on the first of 2 readings as presented.
Thank you. Questions, comments, members of the board? If there are none, we'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Thank you. Thank you. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Any member wish to abstain? Okay, we're on number 17.
Moving to page 26, facilities tab 10. So this is the 5-year building program. On Tuesday, May 24th, 2022, at the Health and Education Committee, the engineering staff was requested to provide revised budgets for the Smyrna, Riverdale, and Oakland High projects based on the latest schematics. Schematics were presented to the board at our last meeting. These schematics include the request from school staff as well as the board's comments. A revised 5-year building program schedule is presented tonight for review, comment, and a motion to carry forward the revised budgets to the next Health and Education meeting. Recommended motion to approve the 5-year building program budgets to be carried to Health and Ed as presented.
Thank you. Questions, comments, members of the board?
I move that we accept the new numbers and send it on over to Health and Ed, please.
Thank you, Ms. Maxwell. Thank you, Mr. Holden. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Any member wish to abstain? Next item.
Number 2, Laverne Middle School Community Garden. Dr. Holman has submitted a request to build a raised bed community garden approximately 18 by 30 feet. This garden will be a community outreach and educational opportunity for students. The cost for this project is estimated to be $3,000 and to be funded by a grant from the United Way. Engineering and Construction has reviewed this request and approves. Recommended motion to approve Laverne Middle School's community garden at no cost to the board as presented. And Dr. Holman's here tonight, so thank you for being here, Dr. Holman. We appreciate you being here and all your service.
Thank you. Thank you for the information. Members of the board, questions, comments? If there are none, we'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Thank you. Thank you. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Any member wish to abstain? Next item.
All right, number 3 was our application for campus construction for Holloway's backyard greenhouse. That's for information only. It was tabbed in our report. Anything you want to add to that, Shirley?
Yes, sir, if I may.
Yeah, please.
I'd like to ask the board to entertain making a motion to approve it. Reason we did it for information only. 2 locations selected by Holloway. We had some concern that there's some underground utilities in that area. We're working to verify that. Once it's verified, we will work with the school to select one of those 2 locations, and instead of bringing this back in July, we get that worked out. We'd like to go ahead and get you guys to approve it tonight so that the CTE and Holloway could go ahead and get this program started so it'll be ready for school next year.
Okay.
If you'd be so willing to basically make a motion to go ahead and approve with coordination through engineering, construction, and maintenance for the final location.
All right, thank you. Members of the board, you've heard the request and the motion.
I move.
Thank you, Ms. Maxwell.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Sharp. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Any member wish to abstain? Okay, number 4.
All right, number 4 were our construction project updates. Is there anything you want to add that we discussed these on Monday night, I believe?
No, sir, no changes. If nobody has any questions, I think we're okay after reading them Monday night.
We did have a thorough report on Monday. Thank you. We appreciate it. Okay, next item, insurance update.
Insurance update. Dr. Anthony, do we have anything?
Next, directors.
All right, director's update. I have several things. First, I think we're all aware our biggest concern right now is about open positions that we have with educators and classified staff as well. So I wanted to give you just several strategies that we're coming up with. Really, it's 4. One is to boost visibility of our openings. And so we've got a couple ways to do that. We are going to be using the Tennessee Job Board by the Tennessee Department of Education to post our openings. We're also working with K-12 Blogspot, which TDOE recommends. And so those will be 2 ways that we're increasing visibility. Second is we have a Sunday message coming out on Sunday to talk about the different options for licensure. The first one, we sent an email to all of our retirees, our HR department, Dr. Anthony, was it 7 years?
Yes, since 2015.
Yep, all retirees from 2015. So the state has passed Senate Bill 2702 that allows any retiree to receive 70% of their retirement benefit, their normal retired salary, and their salary that they would get as a licensed teacher. They would not earn an extra year's pay for retirement, but they would receive basically both their retirement 70% and their normal teacher salary. The other portion is we are relaunching our EPP as Rutherford Teach Now. Much easier to say, much easier to understand what it is. That Sunday message, we are offering 2 open houses for people that are interested that maybe have a degree in any or experience in any of our career and technical education pathways in a high school or middle school math or science area. The 2 open houses, the first one will be June 30th at Rock Springs Middle School at 5:30. The second one is July 11th here at our central office at 5:30. The other way that we are educating about options is we sent to all of our principals, and we are working with anybody that has a bachelor's degree that may be able to get a waiver or a permit that we can try to fill our classrooms that way. Lastly, and we'll bring this to the board on July the 5th, 7th work session, is we're looking at an extended contract. So we know that last year teachers had to cover classes for multiple weeks on end, and we want to investigate looking at an extended contract if a teacher is on their planning period, instead of just covering that class, going ahead and paying them to teach that class during that time. The extended contract would probably be $5,000 is what we're looking at, and looking at the average salary and dividing that out by the number of days. We would then, their extended contract, technically by law, they have to have a planning period, so their planning period is at the end of the day. So the extended contract takes place during the day, but allows them to have their planning period at the end of the day. The other portion I already mentioned with recruitment was going through with that ARCO Service Corp that I'll bring that group before you on the July 5th, 7th meeting. Last thing I just wanted to add is, even though he already left, this was officially Mr. Bodery's last potential school board meeting. He got out of here quickly. He is leaving us on June 30th, so he's at the courthouse right now with the county commission, so I want to thank him for his service and everything that he has done. We've also made 2 appointments. Mr. Brian Runyon is our current financial director and really second in charge of our finance department, and he is going to be assuming that role of assistant superintendent for budget and finance. And Dr. Kelly Chastain, who is in our curriculum instruction department, is sitting over here. She is going to be assuming my role of assistant superintendent for curriculum and instruction. So I want to graduate and welcome both of them as well. That's all I have.
Congratulations. Appreciate you. Okay, lots of information. Number 20, Tennessee Legislative Network, Ms. Maxwell.
Yes, I have lengthy things tonight. The first for the state of Tennessee has to do with the Tennessee Supreme Court declining to rehear the school voucher case. The Tennessee Supreme Court in May ruled in favor of Governor Bill Lee's Education Savings Account program. The Education Savings Account program would allow parents to send their children to private school using public money. Metro Nashville and Shelby County governments filed a petition asking the court to rehear the case. The Tennessee Supreme Court has declined to rehear the case, challenging the constitutionality of Governor Bill Lee's controversial school voucher program. Nashville Mayor John Cooper argued the court did not consider that Metro Nashville Public Schools as the school system for both Nashville and Davidson County is part of the metro form of government. but under the Education Savings Account Program, eligible students could choose to take public money for their education and apply it to private students instead, but only some students, specifically those in Metro Nashville and Shelby County Public School Districts, are part of the 3-year pilot program approved narrowly by the Tennessee General Assembly in 2019. In the 3-2 ruling last month, the state's highest court agreed with the Lee administration. The court's recent ruling sent the case back to the trial court to resolve whether the program violates the constitutional equal protection clause in public school students' rights to adequate and equitable educational opportunities. And it said here that the Lee's administration the department is statutorily required to implement the program, but neither the department or of the government's office has hinted at a timeline for doing so yet, and Lee's administration aims to begin implementation as soon as possible once the legal process is fully resolved.
Very good. Okay. Do you have anything for federal this evening?
Yes, I do. The Attorney General is disputing the federal drive directive to withhold nutrition assistance for schools programs that don't adhere to the new gender identity sexual orientation policy. Attorney General Herbert H. Slattery is leading a coalition of 26 states' attorneys generals calling on President Joe Biden to withdraw the U.S. Department of Agriculture's new guidance on sex discrimination for schools and programs that receive federal nutritional assistance. The attorneys general say recent guidance from the USDA imposes new and unlawful regulatory measures on state agencies and operators receiving federal financial assistance from the USDA. On May 5, 2022, the USDA's Food and Nutrition Service announced it would expand its interpretation of the prohibition on sex discrimination found in Title IX to include discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender identity based on a flawed understanding of the Supreme Court's decision. As a result, any state, local agency, or program that receives federal funds through the Food and Nutrition Act and Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program, SNAP, administered by the USDA, must comply with this unlawful application of Bostock and Title IX or lose federal funding. This is yet another attempt by the executive branch and unelected regulators to do what only Congress is constitutionally authorized to do, change the law, said General Slattery. They intentionally misread the Bostock decision to fit their policy preferences and exclude the people and their elected representatives from the entire process. As attorney generals, we cannot just sit on the sidelines, and we will not. The National School Lunch Program services nearly 30 million school children each day, many who rely on it for breakfast, lunch, or both. Approximately 100,000 public and non-profit private schools and residential child care institutions receive federal funding to provide subsidized, free, or reduced price meals for qualifying children. In the letter, the attorneys general say expanding the concept of discrimination on the basis of sex to include gender identity and sexual orientation does far more than offer direction. The guidance is unlawful because it was issued without providing the states and other stakeholders the opportunity for input as required by the Administrative Procedures Act. Also, the guidance is unlawful because the USDA promised it on an obvious misreading and misapplication of the Supreme Court's holding in Bostock versus Clayton. Bostock expressly disclaimed application to other federal or state laws that prohibit sex discrimination, that like Title IX and Food and Nutrition Act, and expressly did not prejudice any such questions. The guidance imposes new and unlawful regulatory measures on state agencies and operators receiving federal financial assistance from the USDA. This will inevitably result in a regulatory chaos that threatens essential nutritional services to some of the most vulnerable citizens. And the letter was signed by the attorney generals from 26 states. And I'm sorry that was so lengthy.
Appreciate the information. Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Maxwell on this information? Okay, there's none. Is there any general discussion? There's a lot, Ms. Maxwell. Is there any general discussion?
I've got one. Dr. Sullivan, we spoke last week about we felt like that we were kind of our hands were being tied, that certain teachers couldn't teach certain things. Can we get on a to-do list, some kind of flow chart, so the board can be well versed in that, so when we start meeting with our representatives, we know what needs to be done, and we can get some of that stuff out of there, so.
Absolutely. So I'll just give, one of the
Yes.
quick things we talked about was that you could have a 9 through 12 certified teacher who wanted to go and teach fifth grade. Now, that's probably not our option because, but that's just a reality. As a district, we would not be able to grant them that position. However, if somebody had a college degree in that area, we could go and hire them for that. So you have licensed teachers who necessarily can't go and teach a different grade, but somebody without that certification could go and teach. Another area is special education. So special education is the one area that you are not allowed from the State Department to have a waiver or a permit. So even if somebody has extensive experience working in a classroom with a bachelor's degree, we have no option for a permit or a waiver for that person.
There's so many
Yep,
gyrations that we're just cutting our nose off to spite our face, so.
absolutely, yes,
You cleaned that up, it sounds like, on a state level.
absolutely.
Okay. Thank you for that, Ms. Sharp. Any other questions, comments, general discussion items? Okay, if there are none, we are adjourned.